Good morning, everyone. I'm Terry Wood, and welcome to the County Seat. Now, this program, as you know, usually focuses on specific problems involving any of Utah's 29 counties. This morning, however, we're looking at an issue that affects all of Utah's counties and nearly two-thirds of the entire nation. We're going to take a look at the drought of 2012 and how it'll affect you here in Utah. 62% of the land in this country is under drought conditions. It is more severe in some areas than others, but even much of Utah is facing what is defined by the government as severe drought. And in one way or another, it will affect almost everyone in this country in higher prices for food and many of the products we buy. But you know, when you look around Utah, you might not realize we're in a drought. I mean, we have our sweet corn stands out on corners throughout the state. The peach harvest is coming in. Farmers markets are flourishing. And we have cherries. Well, they may have come a little bit early this year. In a few moments, we're going to take a look with the experts at what we can do in Utah and what we can expect from the drought. But first, Dan Pope's going to take us on a field trip to one of those cherry orchards in Utah County.
Walking through any of the orchards in Utah County, or for that matter, communities along the Wasatch Front, it is very difficult to imagine that we live in the second most arid state in the Union. But venture away from these populated areas, and reality really sets in. Parched land, dry grasses, and not even a cloud in the sky. But for most of us, the drought has equaled little more than dry grass in our yard. However, for the farmers, they have been impacted in a much more substantial way.
Livestock agriculture is our foundation. Nearly 75% of farm gate sales come from livestock. So if you look at the cattle and sheep in particular, the hot, dry summer has really been difficult for them.
All 29 of Utah's counties are on the U.S. Department of Agriculture's drought disaster list this year. But drought isn't a new problem for Utah. In fact, it is the forethought of the pioneers that made the desert bloom in the first place, allowing cities like Salt Lake to grow into the metropolis we know today.
Irrigation is a fact of life in Utah and in much of the arid West. All of the investment that we've made, all 2 million plus of us benefit from that vision.
True desert makes up 33% of Utah. In these areas, annual precipitation is only 5 to 8 inches. Steppelands, or climate regions that lie between deserts and higher mountain regions, make up about 40% of the state. These areas receive between 8 and 14 inches of rain annually. The rest of Utah is made up mainly of mountainous highlands with a more temperate climate. But it is the narrow belt that we call the Wasatch Front that runs from Idaho to Nephi that is home to most of the agriculture in the Beehive State. This thin strip of land accounts for only 3% of Utah. Irrigation systems and reservoirs have created an infrastructure that allows agriculture to thrive in the desert. But these systems have limits.
The downstream irrigators have been very good to become much more efficient with the use of the water than they have maybe 20 or 30 years ago. I think once you see the bottom of the barrel, you can actually say, okay, well, maybe this isn't an endless resource of water like a lot of people have thought in the past.
Last year we had a banner year. All of our reservoirs were filled, so we had a lot of water on storage. And so Utah is prepared for short-term drought.
Right now, it is the livestock producers that are feeling the most pressure because the drought has hurt public lands where the livestock graze in the spring and summer. As a result, the animals have to be pulled off the mountain earlier. The drought also affected crops like hay and alfalfa, which drive up the cost to feed the animals once they are brought back to the ranch. The increased costs have led to some hard decisions.
They're going to have to hunker down and probably reduce the numbers that they have. These are families, and they have to sit around the kitchen table and discuss tough years.
For consumers, though, the signs of drought aren't as apparent.
If you look at the dynamics of modern agriculture in America, this is a country of 314 million people, and about 3 million About 1% of the American citizenry is involved in producing our food and fiber. So we're very blessed because of the abundance they provide. Since the Great Depression, we really haven't had food shortages in this country, and that's because our farmers have invested in technology, they've invested in pesticides, genetically modified livestock and plants, and it's all more productive. Every year our farmers set new production records, and it's because of the investments that we're blessed with abundant, affordable, and safe food that is the envy of the world.
Hopefully further drought won't turn the abundance into an empty table for the citizens of Utah. For the county seat, I'm Dan Pope.
We'll be back in just a moment. We're going to talk to a panel of experts about the Utah drought. They've all been farmers and ranchers in Utah, and even in Utah County too. Back in just a moment.
The State of Utah School and Institutional Trust Lands Administration. SITLA manages 3.5 million acres in Utah lands with the express purpose of furthering the education of Utah students while promoting local industry, oil and gas, even residential development, all at the same time. Through the careful use of trust lands, we distributed more than $22 million to Utah schools last year. The State of Utah School and Institutional Trust Lands Administration, building the state's permanent school fund.
Whatever your meeting needs may be, Sevier County is perfect. The brand new Fairgrounds facility includes a large meeting hall, breakout rooms, and a perfect kitchen facility to feed just a few or hundreds. The county also boasts the Sevier Valley Center on the campus of Snow College Richfield. This facility includes an arena and numerous breakout rooms that can be used for any type of meeting, conference, or event. When planning your next meeting or conference, consider placing it in the center of it all, Sevier County.